Warriors, Crookedstar's Promis by Erin Hunter. Chapter 1. Stormkit edged farther along the slippery branch. Volkit's dare rang in his ears. Bet you fall off before you get to the end. He unsheathed his claws and dug them into the frozen bark. From here, he could see a long way downstream, as far as the bend in the river. He could just glimpse the first of the stepping stones beyond. And on that far shore, Sunning Rocks. Its sheer side shadowed the water, and its wide, smooth stone summit sparkled with frost. Stormkit fluffed out his fur. He'd seen farther than any other cat in the clan. They'd never even seen past the reed bed. "Be careful," Okit called from the camp clearing. "Shut up, Okit, I'm a warrior." Stormkit looked down, past the fat mouse-brain bulrush heads, into the dense forest of reeds that jutted out of the icy river. Minnows flitted between the stems, their scales flashing. Could he reach down with a paw, break the thin ice, and scoop them out? He pressed his pale brown belly to the bark, wrapped his hind legs around the narrow branch, and swung his forepaws down toward the tiny fish. Tingling with frustration, he felt his claws brush the tips of the bulrushes. "I was born in a storm. I'm gonna be clan leader one day." Stormkit stretched harder, trembling with effort. "What are you doing?" Okit yelped. "Let him be." Stormkit heard Rainflower silencing Okit, a purr rumbling in her throat. "Your brother has the courage of a warrior already." Stormkit clung tighter to the branch. "I'll be fine. I'm stronger than StarClan." "Look out!" Okit squeaked. A rush of wind tugged Stormkit's fur. A flurry of black and white feathers battered his ears. "Magpie!" Talons scraped his spine. Frog dirt and fish guts. Stormkit's claws were wrenched out of the bark. He plummeted into the reeds and crashed through the thin ice. The freezing water shocked the breath from him. Minnows darted away as he thrashed in the water. "Where's the shore?" River water flooded his mouth. It tasted of stone and weeds. Spluttering, he struggled to swim, but the stiff reeds blocked his flailing paws. "StarClan, help me!" Panic shot through him as he fought to keep his muzzle above water. Suddenly, the stems beside him swished apart, and Tangle Whisker plunged through. "I'm okay," Stormkit spluttered. Water rushed into his mouth again, and he sank, coughing beneath the ice. Teeth gripped his scruff. "Kits!" Stormkit heard Tangle Whisker muffled growl as the elder hauled him up. Shivering with cold, Stormkit bunched his paws against his belly, wincing with embarrassment as Tangle Whisker pushed his way through the reeds and deposited Stormkit on the bank next to his mother. "Nice dive, Stormkit," Volkit teased. "Like a kingfisher," Beetlekit added. "Maybe Hailstar should change your name to Birdbrain." Stormkit growled at the two kits as they crowded around him. 1 moon older, they loomed over him like crows. Echo Mist paced anxiously behind them, her soft gray fur fluffed with worry. "Don't tease, you two." Petalkit pushed past her brothers. "I wasn't teasing." The pretty tortoiseshell she-cat stuck her nose in the air. I think he was brave to try." Purring, Rainflower licked Stormkit's ears. "Next time, grip the branch harder." Stormkit shook her off. "Don't worry, I will." As Tangle Whiskers shook water from his long tabby pelt, Birdsong hurried down the slope from the elder's den. "You'll catch a cold," she scolded. Tangle Whisker blinked at his tabby and white mate. "Did you want me to let him drown?" "One of the warriors would have rescued him," Birdsong retorted. Tangle Whisker shrugged. "They're busy." Rainflower purred. "I think Stormkit would have found his own way out. He's a strong little cat, aren't you?" Stormkit felt his fur glow with the warmth of his mother's praise. He blinked water out of his eyes and looked around the clearing. This was the home of RiverClan, the greatest clan of all. He hadn't seen it before the flood, so the smooth brown mud that covered the ground and the heaps of battered wet reeds that cluttered every corner were more familiar to him than the densely woven walls and open spaces that were emerging. Timberfur and Cedar Pelt were carrying bundles of freshly picked dry reeds across the clearing to Softpaw and Whitepaw, who were weaving them into the tattered apprentice's den. Farther along the river's edge, Shellheart and Ottersplash were gathering more stems. Followtail was helping Brabbleberry clear the last of the muddy debris from the medicine den. Alfer and Lakeshine were dragging dead wood and bark that had been washing through the reeds and into the clearing. A whole moon had passed since the stormy night when Stormkit and Oakkit had been born, but the camp still showed signs of being swept away. Fortunately, the Elder's Den had held firm and only needed a little reweaving here and there. In the nursery, a ball of tightly overlapping willow branches and reeds had been found downstream, wedged between the stepping stones. It had been easy enough to drag it back to camp and lodge it among the thick sedgewood bushes. A few patches had repaired it, though it was still damp inside from the soaking. Rainflower tucked fresh moss into their nest every evening, but Stormkit still woke each morning with a cold, wet pelt. The rest of the camp was harder to fix. It had taken half a moon's digging and levering to roll the fallen tree to the edge of the clearing where the old warrior's den had stood. Once the broken branches and shattered bark had been cleared away, new dens could be woven against the thick trunk. Until then, RiverClan's warriors slept in whatever shelter they could find, making nests in the thick sedge walls around the camp or in the nooks and crevices of the fallen tree. No cat could remember what it was like to be warm. New leaf might be showing in early buds and birdsong, but leaf-bare frosts still gripped the banks of the river every night. Hellstar had been sleeping in the open despite the cold. He insisted that his den be the last one rebuilt. When my clan is safe and warm, then I will sleep soundly, but not before, he had vowed. Oakkit was wound around Stormkit, soaking water from his brother's pale tabby pelt into his own bracken-colored fur. I told you to be careful. I wouldn't have fallen if that magpie hadn't dived at me, Stormkit growled through chattering teeth. The cold water seemed to have reached his bones. You wouldn't have fallen off if you'd stay in the clearing, a deep mew sounded from behind them. Stormkit spun around. Hellstar was staring down at him, his thick gray pelt ruffled against the cold. Amusement lit the RiverClan's leader's yellow eyes. Shellheart, he called to his deputy, not taking his eyes from Stormkit. Shellheart slid out from the rushes, his wet pelt slicked against his strong frame. He glanced at Stormkit. Is everything okay? Your kit will be a brave warrior, Hellstar meowed. If he doesn't drown himself before he starts his training. Shellheart's tail flicked as Hellstar went on. We'd better send a patrol to catch that magpie. It's beginning to think it owns RiverClan territory. Shellheart tipped his head. Should we drive it off or catch it? Hellstar wrinkled his nose. We'd better catch it, he growled unenthusiastically. Few cats in RiverClan liked adding birds to the fresh kill pile. We must eat whatever we can find. The flood had killed so many fish, battered them on the rocks, or left them stranded on land. That river prey was scarce. I'll organize a patrol, Shellheart meowed. Wait till Rippleclaw's patrol returns, Hellstar ordered. With so much rebuilding still to do in camp, Hellstar rarely sent out more than one patrol at a time. I hope they've caught something edible this time, Tanglewhisker muttered. I'm sure they will have, Birdsong meowed. It's been a moon since the flood. The fish must be coming back by now. Echo Mist turned away from her kits. If only we'd buried some of the fish washed up by the flood and preserved them like ThunderClan does with their prey and Leaf Bear. Hellstar shook his head. Fish don't keep like forest prey. Our warriors will need the strength of StarClan to repair the damage done by the flood, as well as keep the fresh kill pile well stocked. Stormkit stuck out his tail. Let us help with the rebuilding then. Volkit hurried forward, his gray fur spiking with excitement. Oh, yes, please. We'll be really useful, Petalkit fluffed out her tortoiseshell pelt. Echo Mist swept her tail around her kits, pulling them away. Don't be frog-brained. You'll get under everyone's paws. Stormkit plucked at the ground. No, we won't. Hailstar's whiskers twitched. I'm not going to turn down a genuine offer to help, Echo missed. As long as they stay in the camp, I don't see a problem. We'll have a kit patrol. Stormkit puffed out his chest as he stood shoulder to shoulder with Oak Kit, Beetle Kit, Full Kit, and Petal Kit. Great, what should we do? Hailstar thought for a moment. If you take the reeds that Otter Splash is gathering to Softpaw and Whitepaw, then Timberfur and Cedar Pelt will be free to join Shellheart's hunting patrol. Come on! Stormkit raced for the shore where Otter Splash was tossing reeds. Careful! Cedar Pelt was pawing together a freshly harvested pile as Stormkit skidded to a halt next to him. Don't knock them into the river. I won't. Stormkit sank his teeth into a stem and began dragging it across the clearing to the apprentice's half-built den. Well, well! Whitepaw paused from weaving stems on the roof of the apprentice's den and looked down. We have new volunteers. Is that a whole reed? Softpaw peered from inside the framework of woven willow stems, her tabby patched tail quivering. We'll be finished before we know it with help like this. I can carry more, Stormkit boasted, puffed up with pride. He dropped the stem and turned away, nearly crashing into Beetle Kit. Watch out, mewed the Black Kit, tripping over the reed he was dragging. Sorry. Stormkit dashed back toward the reed bed, past Volkit, who had 3 reeds clamped between his jaws. I'm bringing 4 next time, he called over his shoulder. He pricked his ears as he heard paws splash on the marshy earth beyond the entrance tunnel. A cat was racing toward the camp. Stormkit halted, blinking, as the sedge wall of the camp rustled and Rippleclaw bounded into the clearing. Any prey? Birdsong called. Rippleclaw shook his head, his silver flanks heaving. Stunning rocks, he gasped. ThunderClan has taken Stunning Rocks.